Yo, it's your boy Sir DQ. This is another episode of Young Old Head, and I'm sitting here with the gang, of course, Pop-Tart, J-Rock, and of course, the legendary, the talented, my favorite white person in the world, Rapper Rich, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, peace, love, and unicorns. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me out here.
You see the hat.
Broward County, born and raised, 954. I was born at 9:54 in the morning.
Stop lying.
Yo, I'll bring my birth certificate. We'll do it.
I love this guy.
We'll do it Donald Trump style. I'll show you my certificate.
I'll show you my
I'll show you my tax return.
Pull up with the receipt. Listen, we're going to get right into it, man. This is Rapper Rich. I'm going to give this man to be able to talk about the entire career this man has been going on having. We're going to start off sad to say because this is one of those episodes, like I always tell y'all, I love to give people their flowers. I'm giving this man his flowers because Rapper Rich is leaving us, ladies and gentlemen. He's leaving Broward County.
Leaving Broward County. The prodigal son is moving on, you know, but we're still out here. We're doing it. I'm going to rep Broward no matter where I am. Yeah. We're going to be coming back. You know, we're going to, of course, hit you with that music, but just in a different area, different flavor, all that shit.
All right, bro. So listen, I'm going to start off rip, man. I got a few things I'm going to talk about. Might be emotional. You let me know if you want to talk about it or not. Okay. All right? I feel
like this should happen before the interview.
It's a little too late now. It's going down. All right? Instead, it's going down. All right? So that's the only thing that, like I said, man, I really want to give you your flowers, man, because you've been doing this on some real golden age hip-hop shit.
Appreciate that.
From the jump. I'm just going to take it back from the first thing that we can even find on SoundCloud, where we find a lot of your catalog.
Right.
Where we're going to talk about, like I said, everything from we're gonna start just from the rip, like I said. Type Real. You're Rapper Rich, you came out with a project. What's Type Real?
So Type Real is myself, Rapper Rich, my cousin DR Wise, and our producer, Ambassador Bills, also known as Dom Bills, also known as King Bills.
Okay.
And also known as the A Ambassador. But anyways, this was a spawn of something that we were doing in high school. We didn't really have the means and equipment in high school. Once we graduated, kind of started working full-time jobs. We were like, hey, let's buy some equipment. You know what I'm saying? So Type Real was born in my parents' house in my childhood home.
Okay.
I fucking removed literally every piece of furniture that I had in my bedroom as a child. And replaced it with studio and music equipment. And every day, myself and DR would go in the booth. We'd rap, we'd record, we'd write. Also, another member of the group, he was like on our very first cuts, things that aren't even released on the internet, which is my man T-Law. Troy Larson, he was in the group too. But we were hitting open mics every night. We were rocking little performances, fucking all kinds of shit. I mean, you think about it, back in that time, Broward
What year is this?
This is like 08, 09,
okay.
Just sliding into
So what made you pick up the pen? Like, what made you start rapping? Did you start at 08, 09?
Oh, no.
What made you pick up the pen?
I started rapping back in like early 2000s. I think I was highly influenced by... I had an older sister. She would play a lot of, speaker box records, shit like that.
That's a sis.
Yeah, like old school things, so I kind of was influenced like that. Then we just started freestyling and rapping and fucking around in my kitchen for like hours. Mm-hmm. And, one day we were just like, let's for real do it. So, we started picking up the mic, like for real writing, for real recording, buying equipment. We actually didn't have any money and we needed some speakers for our studio. So we went up in Walmart and we just jacked them shit. Yeah, so we went in Walmart. We jacked them. We ran out, and the security guards chased us. But we got our studio equipment. We got our speakers, and that's how we were able to record. Things like.
Where are these boys at now? Where's Dom Bills?
Dom Bills, I'm not quite sure. Haven't kept in contact with him in a while.
His beats is fire.
Yeah, he's amazing, and he's another one of those guys too. That's like, he's the MPC kind of guy, SP1200 kind of guy, straight record sampling.
SP1200. I heard a little story about that on the Jazz side.
Yeah,
we gonna get into
shout out to Comp, bro.
Listen,
Distinguished Chimps family.
We not gonna. Let me do that. Yeah, I'm trying to talk about all these people. He done introduced half the gang off the first question. This guy Rich, and you gotta love him. So you said repping Broward scene since the age of 19 on A Few Good Months.
Everybody's faking, lies fabricated on the internet forsaken. Genuine conversation, fuck being famous. March Madness was the baddest, proving straight savage. Ran through Florida like Mavericks and established that we here to stay, you can't push us away. Outwork any jerk that tries to stand in our way. Passion and a dream could really build your self-esteem. I was an awkward young teen, now I'm confident, see. Been rapping the Broward scene since the age of 19. From where I was to where I am, I hardly believe.
Facts.
That's like when you first started really getting out here, really whatnot.
Yeah.
What year was that?
When I was 19, that was like 2008, 2009. Okay. The Broward hip hop scene was null and void. It wasn't even in existence. There was one local bar that somebody would throw shows at called Area 7, which is over on like Powerline in Oakland Park. That's where they used to do a lot of. You remember that place? Yeah, that's where they used to do a lot of old shows and like some of the first shows in Broward. I think. But yeah, man, like I feel like I don't want to take credit for nothing, but I feel like we really oversaw the Broward hip hop scene be created before it is what it is now. It's really cool to see what it birthed itself into, but it's kind of hard not to drive by these old venues and kind of see all this shit and like you're like, damn, like the scene's changed a lot. But
so speaking of the old venues, speak about old Broward and all the places like that. Well, not even just old Broward, old South Florida, like that really kind of built the place that y'all talking about, like Homeroom, Green Room, Wake Up Star,
Homeroom for
Propaganda,
sure, yeah.
Art of War.
Right. Oh wow, Art of War. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
tell me about what those were, how they played a part to to the scene of South Florida, to the music scene that it is today.
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, Duffy Homeroom. Homeroom was where I first was introduced to a lot of my closest friends, even outside of music. But within the music scene, like some artists and stuff like that I never may have been exposed to and became really good friends with. Art of War too. Art of War is still a really great thing. That's Miami's premier battle league, hip hop battle league, and a lot of really cool dudes.
Really big on battle hip hop.
I used to be. I used to battle a lot. Used to battle a lot back in like early thousands.
Okay, you got a favorite battle rapper that you listen to?
I don't know, maybe like Thesaurus. He's a pretty cool dude.
Ooh, who's that?
Exactly, go look him up. But yeah, he's like the 3-time world freestyle champ. Like he's super notarized within the within the battle scene. He's really good. But yeah, man, Art of War, Wake Up Star for sure. Wow, Wake Up Star. Shout out to Rania. She gave me like my first for real shot. I remember I was blowing her fucking DMs up on Twitter. I was like, yo, let me get an opening spot. And that's when she did a show with Prez P. And she's like, who wants the opening slot for Prez P? And I'm like, yo, let me get it. I was up in her DMs, like for real. And she was like, yeah, I've been listening to your shit, this and that. She's like, hey, like we're not gonna have you on this one, but don't get discouraged. We're gonna fuck with you in the future. I'm like, all right, whatever. And some time passed, and then we started doing like some for real shows. I think one of the most premier shows that she ever set up for me personally was Wake Up Wynwood. I think it was
Wake Up Wynwood. Okay.
Yeah, Wake Up Wynwood. No, it wasn't called Wake Up Wynwood. Something like that. But it was an Art Basel show. It was like 2014 maybe.
Okay.
So
I wonder. So you saying you at 14 now? But that's what Wake Up Star first started up.
No, I believe she was going way beyond that. But her and I, we met, and we actually are still really good friends. I still talk to her all the time. Man, what a great person.
What was really popular out there in Old Broward? What was the scene?
Crazy Eights used to be a cool place. So Crazy Eights was a place that was on Las Olas, like legit, like where like all the clubs used to be like in that little pocket before they demoed it. So Crazy Eights was a place, and this guy Mike Nice used to run shows called Raunchy Wednesdays, and they were like, for bro. So we were like, when we were hype as fuck back then. That's when Type Rear was going. That's when we were doing all that. Like we were like the only white boys at the shows where we were rocking crowds and like stage diving and falling on the floor type shit. Just doing hip hop. We were doing hip hop. We were doing strictly hip hop, and it definitely credited us to.
Been doing stage diving with the hip hop.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've been stage diving before stage diving was.
You're a person that's so of like a prominent, like I say, prominent golden age hip hop person. Like,
correct.
What is hip hop to you?
Hip hop to me is the glorification of all things good. You know what I'm saying? And however you express that in your way is how you express it. Hip hop is that thing that is fearless. It's ruthless. It doesn't have any owners. It doesn't have any masters. It's its own thing. It's a living, breathing organism. And, you know, if you look at it from a scientific perspective, like, the way that it's moving is the way that it's supposed to be moving. You know, whether, you know, I'm a fan of the current music, whether you're a fan of the current music, you know, whatever. I mean, you're going to find...
Are you a fan of the current music?
I'm a fan of lots of the current music. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of guys. You take guys like Freddie Gibbs, you know, Westside Conway, you know, Rock Marciano. I mean, you know, and Alchemist, of course. You know, in my opinion, those are the dudes that I really care about.
Alchemist is definitely one of my favorite producers.
Of course.
What's one of yours?
My all-time favorite producer is Jay Dillon.
For sure. Yeah. I can feel that through your music for sure, man.
Jay Dillon's the man for me.
I'm glad you spoke about the music today and everything, and because on tracks like you've been kind of tired of the trap music. You talked about it on Be Yourself. You talked about on the Rap Platform interview. I heard. Shout out to the Rap Platform.
Oh yeah, man.
I put out a shirt.
Shout out to Big Tino. Shout out to my dog KT, man. Love them guys.
So like, what's up with that? You not really into the trap? What's your beef with the trap?
I'm not into sounding like the next man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into repetition. I'm not into a lack of creativity and compartmentalizing yourself just to try to fit in with something that's going on in the new age. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like hip hop is the complete opposite of that. Right, like you take guys like Public Enemy, you know, you take guys like Ice-T, like straight fight the power movement, like for real. Like this was at a time where, you know, climate in this country was hot. You know what I'm saying? And it's even worse today, but back then it was new and it was hot. And you didn't have the exposure to it the way that we have exposure to it now. So, you know, I feel like you're discrediting the art if you just want to be like the next man, if you don't, you know, throw your flavor on it, creativity, whatever the case is. I mean, I'm not going to discredit all music that encompasses that kind of shit, but
man. That's a lot of it though. There's a lot of repetition and people sound like each other for sure. And that's something that I've always tried to push in the South Florida scene, something as a conscious platform. Ever since I've been doing the Culture Miami, doing the different events like the FNO, what I do now, is because I've been a part of these platforms because I see the vision that they're trying to push, that the platform for the artists that don't have a platform as well.
No,
you know what I mean? And I'm so honored to say that doing Culture Miami, having you a part of it numerous times, and being able to see where the music platform is now, where everybody's doing shows now. You know what I mean? It's a lovely thing to appreciate it, say that people like you are still pushing that conscious. Would you consider yourself conscious?
I consider myself all-knowing, you know, like, you know, it's not a conscious, it's not a golden era, it's not a boom bap, you know, it's strictly a vibe kind of thing. I believe the greatest music is curated within the moment, you know, like, you know, I think it's not something that we can really create as far as, like, you sit down and think about it, right? Like, it just happens. Like, I mean, you think about any of the best creative work that you've ever created, it happened almost accidentally, right? Like, you're, like, sitting there like, oh, my God. Like, I mean, there's times where I listen to my tracks, I'm like, God damn, I said that shit?
Yo.
You know, like, I said that?
Because you said some shit.
It's funny, but, like, I mean, I feel like all artists can go through that situation,
but because
right? Where, like, if you're a producer, you're like, damn, I made that beat. Damn, I layered that shit like that. You know, I created those harmonies and melodies. Like, that's cool. You know, it's a good thing to appreciate your own art. And I feel like the way that everything is moving these days, it's so fast, right? You know, we consume it instantaneously, shit it out the next day, and it's done. Like your yesterday's news, like for real. Like,
music comes in abundance.
It comes in a big time abundance, and you know, you have like all the biggest artists releasing all on the same day at the same time, like, you know, and it kind of puts the fans in a frenzy. Like, oh, I want to listen to this, I want to listen to that, I want to listen to this, and then like by the time you like get through their shit, they're out with another thing, which is great. I think it's great that they have so much, you know, leverage to be able to push out so much music, but I feel like in that digestive process, I think a lot of things get lost.
It's hard too, you don't even sit with it. A lot of people don't sit there and go back to a lot of projects because there's just so much new shit going out. You really can't say you listen to 8 albums that came out in February this year because you listen to so much shit that just came out now this month alone.
Like last month, like the last week. Shit.
No, yeah, for sure.
Last week was like Freddie Gibbs,
Freddie Gibbs,
and then Dreamville, right? Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of
Blood Orange
fire shit
like, yeah,
that's out right now, and it's like, you know what I mean. But music today is different. But like you said, you go back and listen to a lot of shit you said. Going back to a lot of shit that you said, let's go back with the first project, Paying Dues, Type Real. Who was that on the intro?
About how everyone wants meaningful work. And that's across the board. That's not just like old people want meaningful work. That's like the 20-year-old with no work experience wants meaningful work. And it's not actually that unreasonable a thing to ask for. No one has ever asked for it before. But
That was like
okay.
talking about
right.
The
So
generation and everything.
sure. So that was a cut that I got from YouTube. It was like TED Talks before TED Talks were TED Talks. You feel me? Like it was like back in like early 2009, and I found that snippet online, and like I thought it was a very interesting thing, and I don't remember her name, the person who said that, but I liked that clip.
They were speaking about like how the new generation is very more innovative. However, they're just gonna be different to understand from the previous generation, and how they're just not take no shit type of people.
Right.
There's a lot of what you can see today. A lot of people are saying fuck school, fuck the system, fuck that. I'm doing my way, and it's working for a lot of people.
Yeah, man.
But like you said, who's DR?
DR is my cousin, so he goes by the actual name of DR Wise, which is Divine Restoration with Intelligent Spiritual Elevation.
Where is he from? What's his nationality?
He's my cousin. He's a white American.
DR spit like
DR, his David Ritchie.
Y'all both spit like y'all was, like I said, the lost members of the firm.
Yeah.
And the firm needed just some extra flavor and color, or a little different view there. These guys would have fit in so perfectly with the bars and the Don Bill production. It's like
I'll be honest.
Who to blame, call it what you want.
Good tunes.
Higher.
He definitely pushed me a lot to really unlock and untap my own potential. I felt like, I saw what he was doing, and kind of that little cousin, older cousin. He's not too much older than me, but kind of like that thing of like where you like heroize like people in your life, right? And like I seen him rap and the way that he rapped, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do that too. And then we just started doing it together, man. Like we never stopped doing it together.
Who made Shit Hawk?
I did.
Hope they don't shit on you, Bubbles.
Shit on me? Who?
Shithawks. Big, dirty shithawks. They're coming, Bubbles. They're flying in low.
I produced Shit Hawk.
You're a producer.
I'm not a producer.
You're a producer. You CEO Rich for Unfold Records.
Correct.
We gonna get into that as well. You drummer Rich.
Right. Play drums.
You like you said, you moving to Dallas.
Moving to Dallas.
So you CSR Rich, you customer service representative Rich. Like you do it all.
Hey man.
You're a man of many things. Like I said, you've been talking about a lot of topics from the jump, and I can see that you're like a really good storyteller, visionary. At the same time, you're very vivid with your stuff. Like with songs like Sessions in the Park, Platonic Friendship. Are those real stories?
Those are real stories, correct. Yeah, those are all real stories. Platonic Friendship is actually a real and a made up story. So as far as the person I was talking about was made up, but it was actually a situation that took place later in my life. Like, remember the other day when you were at the house? Yeah. And like we were listening to the tunes in the car, I'm like, yo, it's crazy how, the younger me, the younger MC me, like speaks to the future me. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And it happens all the time. Like, again, I go back and listen to my tracks, I'm like, damn, like I like prophesize that. Like I almost like put it within my life because I put it within my music and I gave it life, and it's weird how things like that happen. And I think a lot of artists go through that. I think a lot of people do that.
You've been saying some bars on Face the Facts. You said emotional MCs with tampons in the pocket.
Tampon topics.
Tampon. Wait, what?
Yeah, I said emotional MCs with tampons. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, sorry.
I got accustomed to the pressure. I sit back, relax, and pull the weed up out my dresser. Addictive additives make the mind crave the nonsense. Your conscience get invaded by them toxins. You need to think for yourself and stop going for that bandwagon shit that you see on the shelf. I'm on a whole different side. I experiment with logic. Emotional MCs with tampons in their pockets. Play text topics get used like that's a hot shit, when in reality, they rhymes are just garbage.
You gonna try to tell me? I studied this, Rich. You ain't heard this shit in forever.
He's talking about music I did like 10 years ago.
Yeah, listen. Like I said, the drop-in science recording.
Right.
Talk about that. You told me a little story about that.
Happened in the kitchen, like an actual kitchen where food is created. Yeah, you know, like pots and pans, all that. But, you know, I mean, I don't know if you've ever stepped inside of a kitchen before. I would assume you have. But they're very echoey, and they're probably the worst place you could ever record in your entire existence.
But that song is fire.
Yeah, of course. It's a
and
good
I
tune.
would not be able to tell that.
But it's funny because, you know, a lot of the early music that, you know, that you're bringing up right now, like a lot of that shit was recorded in a kitchen or recorded in a bathroom or just anywhere because we didn't really have anywhere to record. My cousin DR, he had a little condo in Coral Springs, and we flipped that into a recording studio, and that was the kitchen we recorded in. You know, so we were recording in his kitchen all the time. We were recording in the closet, you know, wherever we could. We had the microphone in his living room. Like, you know, at that point, man, like, it's just like, you know, you're gonna record anywhere. You're gonna do what you gotta do to get the job done, right?
So moving on to the next project, the Selfie EP.
Yes.
That project there, that was what, 2014?
13, I think. Was it 14?
14.
Was it 14? Okay. Yeah, you know more.
I want to talk about a track, Self-Actualization.
Right.
Big Dave and Dak. Who was that?
Oh, man.
R.I.P. to them.
Wow. Yeah, damn. That's wow. So Big Dave was my uncle. He was a very influential human being in my life. He taught me a lot of very, very intuitive and key life skills. You know how it is. I don't know if you guys have nephews or nieces or something like that, but you know, like that relationship with your niece and nephew is kind of different than their relationship with their parents. You know what I mean? So like, he was kind of like the dude that like I first smoked dope with, like sniffed cocaine with, like, you know, shit like this, right? Like stuff.
Cocaine, Rich?
Yeah, you know, it's happened. You know,
What's the wildest drug you ever done?
Probably like ketamine. You know.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, ketamine's fire, bro. Ketamine's
Still here today.
Yeah, ketamine's a great drug.
Try ketamine on this you right.
Don't do it. No.
But yeah, like so Big Dave, he was my uncle, my cousin DR's father.
Okay.
Passed away from cancer. You know, he had stage 4, the whole deal.
R.I.P.
Dax was one of my really good friends that I met back in like 2009, 2010. And he actually got murdered on the streets of Miami. He was leaving a club, an after-hours club. You remember Club Mecca back in the day?
Yeah.
Right, so he was leaving Mecca at like 7, 8 a.m., you know, on a Tuesday morning type shit, getting lit. And some homeless guy, he asked him for a cigarette, and he's like, oh, I don't got nothing, whatever. They kept walking. Homeless dude punched him in the back of the head. He hit his head on the curb and cracked his skull right on the curb, and he died right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? So... yeah, it was a bad situation, man. It fucked me up for a long time, and you know, I know a lot of people who were deeply affected by it too, man. And he has, I should say, a really beautiful family, and you know, he comes from a Brazilian background, and I don't know if you know anything about Brazilians, but they're really, they're hearted people. You know what I'm saying? Like they're very, very kind, very emotional. You know,
shout out to Brazilians, guys.
Yeah.
So I got Sawgrass. So I know if you think about Brazilians,
they use their heart. They're very compassionate people.
Yeah.
So to, you know, see his family grieve the way they did at his funeral and all this shit, man, it was tough to see, man. So, you know, he died in like 2010, and I didn't write that track till like 2014. And you know, I think that goes to show. You know, I know a lot of people like to do commemoration tracks for their, you know, people that passed away. And, you know, sometimes, like, you want to do it immediately. And you're like, yeah, I want to get this shit off and, like, get it out so people can hear it. But, like, you know, sometimes it don't work like that. You know, the creative process don't come to you in that manner, especially when it comes to something so sensitive, you know. But that's who those guys are.
R.I.P. Dax.
Yeah, rest in peace to both of those guys,
Dave, man.
But both of those guys were very influential in my life, and I feel like they shaped a part of me, especially my uncle. Definitely shaped a part of me of the 30-year-old man I am today.
30.
Your boy's old.
Just turned 30 last month.
Last
Shout out,
month.
happy belated birthday, Rich, man.
Shout out to
That's why
me.
we celebrate from my guy. All right.
I call it the flirty 30. It's not dirty 30. Though.
Ooh, this guy's nasty out here. Listen, self-promotion. Next track on the. Why Miley?
Miley Cyrus, I say we sell it as Somali pirates. Chop off both her eyelids and look deep into her iris. See a good girl gone bad, my self-esteem is raised the highest. I spit divine shit, sounding like Muhammad reincarnated. Sent directly from the heavens, real rap in every sentence. I stress my essence.
That was
Why Miley, son?
that was at the time when like she was like I don't know, just wilding out on the internet and just being hella grotesque and like, I don't know, like I wasn't really fucking with it. And it was, listen, at the time when I wrote that, and I mean, I know you've heard that freestyle countless times at shows, and like when I first rocked that, one of the first times I ever performed that was when I opened up for Action Bronson at the Revolution. And I performed that shit, and the crowd was lit.
2013.
Maybe, I don't know. Shout out to my man Anthology.
I did my research.
Was it 2013? Okay, I don't even remember. But shout out to Anthology, helped me get that gig, man. That's weird.
What other artists have you opened up for?
Shit. I don't know. Like, as far as like, I mean, I think Action Bronson was probably like the biggest one I've opened up for.
Or some others. Or name some artists that you've done shows with.
Oh my God, everybody and anybody, bro. Fucking Prez P. Like you're talking about Zali, Sin, Emily Cleary, Drew Swace, Poor America. One of my favorite artists ever, BB Borja. Shout out to her. Shit. I even rocked shows with XXX before he was XXX. We were doing shows. Damn, man, there was
more industry people.
More industry people. He's probably as industry as it gets for me. Like, like I never really.
I mean, Action Bronson's pretty industry.
He's pretty cool, yeah, hell yeah. But like, I mean, dude, like anybody that you know and respect and love in the Broward scene, I've done shows with.
Okay.
I'm sorry, even in the Miami scene too.
I've
done shows with, bro. All these guys. We all know each other, and it's just because we've had our foot in the door for so long. Like when you're out here 10 years, doing this shit, and like you build that. I mean, shit, man. I've done shows with so many people, man. Like.
And you speak of that specific. You talking about everybody from Broward. Speak about that specific part of Broward that.
You mean Coral Springs?
Coral Springs.
We call it Southside Jamaica Springs. Also known as Springs Bridge.
Talk about living in Springs, bro. That world, because people don't understand, bro. Like, it's its own.
It
world,
really is,
bro.
and you know what? Like, it gets a lot of like hate because people are like, oh, it's a Richie ass city. Like, I mean, it's a nice part of town.
Yeah,
like,
because you got many songs you talk about. Coral Springs dropped 2015. Self-Expression, you dropped some bars in there. Thank You. On Jazz Styles, you talk about that. I want to talk about that.
Man,
Genesis.
Coral Springs raised me. Coral Springs was like a deciding factor on who I was. Like it's like it's funny because like people hate on Springs like hard, and I get it. Like it makes sense to me. Like, but
that's like my ETGs, man. My Eagle Trace goons.
Yo, shout out to all Eagle Trace. Oh yeah, you're okay. Yeah, yeah. No, man. Coral Springs is a beautiful place. It's a very eclectic city. A lot of cool people live there. A lot of cool people, and like a lot of people that I like made music with.
That's a lot of dope Coral Springs artists. Chief Tony,
Platini, Sin, Mr. Compliment, Anthology.
Ooh, you said Mr. Compliment. Think of how that came about. That relationship came about with you, Compliment and Distinguished Champs.
So how did
that happen? Because I did numerous projects. From the first track that I heard from y'all together was on Selfie EP.
Self-preservation.
Yeah, self-preservation, where you said you only get so far living out of a dude's pants. We gonna get into that, ladies. But talk about the Comp.
Yeah, no. So I met Comp. I don't know, we're dating back 2012, maybe early 2013. I met him through a mutual friend, which is Anthology. Anthology introduced me to him. I knew of Comp prior to actually meeting him due to the fact that he worked with Sin and P and Chief Tone, who are actually the ICU intensive care unit. Fire, yeah. Shout out, those guys are the best. But yeah, so I knew him through that because I was a fan of their music. I'm like, yo, those fucking guys' beats are the shit. But what really drew me to Comp was that he dropped a record called Chimpcast Volume 1. And that Chimpcast Volume 1 was like everybody from Broward at the time. Mercy, that's your cousin. Yeah, Mercy, P, Chief, Sin, Franco, Money Huster, like all these dudes. Like, he had Neo Popsicle on there. You know who Neo Popsicle is? Yo. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say this, but real OGs know real Neo Popsicle. Yeah. Like, I hope somebody like.
I'm late to the scene.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now. Like I say to a lot of interviews, Wendy
Giovanna
is the one that put me onto the scene, and she been telling me about it, and I was just like,
Shout out to Wendy too, man.
So like that's the reason why I know a lot about what the scene.
So and I hope somebody's watching this. Like, Neo Popsicle, I haven't heard her in years. The best. One of the greatest vocalists I've ever heard in my entire existence. But you know, so it was flooded with a lot of people. I'm like, yo, I love this shit. It's exactly what I want to listen to. It's exactly what I want to do. And then Anthology was like, yo, like, that's my homie. Like, I go to his house and we make beats. And I'm like, yo, I want to come through. So going to the Chateau, which is the studio, Comp Studio, it's a privilege. It's a privilege beyond all privileges. You know, not many people get invited there. Not many people even go there and even know where it is. So it's kind of one of them situations where he's like, yeah, he's like, Comp said you can come through. Cool, like, awesome. So I went there. We kicked it off. We chilled. I went there with Anthology a few more times. And then I didn't see Comp for a while. Comp actually emailed me randomly as fuck one day with the Self-Preservation beat. And he said, yo, man, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope everything's gravy. Like, check this beat out. Like, I want you to do something with it. Send me the Self-Preservation beat. I was like, dude, Comp sending me a beat? Like, Mr. Compliment sending me a beat? Like, this is, like, a big thing for me at the time. You know, I'm like, damn, he's sending me a beat. That's amazing. So, send me the beat. I recorded it in my fucking closet. Sent it back to him. He's like, yo, come through. like on my own. Like, I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. So I went there, you know, we hung out, we created a vibe, and it's been a beautiful.
And y'all made Jazzercise.
And then we made Jazzercise, correct.
So where did ID come from?
Oh, that's amazing. I was just about to tell you that. So I was actually, do you know of a little club in Miami called Club Space?
Of course. All
right, so I was there at like, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. Pretty much doing what I'm not supposed to be doing. I was on a couple things. Okay. So, you know, like I
on three. He wasn't on one. He was on three.
I was chilling and like, bro, techno music playing. I'm having a good time, and then bam, the idea. I'm like, we should just do a jazz song, bro. Like just flip old jazz records, like our favorite tracks, all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, we should just freak it. We should just get it lit.
My favorite shit is on there.
Yeah, no, it's a great album. I love it. And so I went to his house one day, like, you know, a week after that. I'm like, hey, I have this idea. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, we should do a full jazz album. We just flip old jazz records, make it hip hop, and call it Jazzercise. He's like, I love it, love that idea. So the track "Certain Place" is
I've heard that performed before.
"Certain Place" is one of my favorite tracks. So okay, so "Certain Place" he sent me randomly as fuck too. So like I talked about Jazzercise, and then him and I. No, I'm sorry. He sent me "Certain Place" a while before that idea. And then he sent me "Certain Place." I recorded it, sent it to him, and that was supposed to go on this Chimcast Volume 2. And, you know, it didn't happen, whatever the case was. So we used that track as the intro track, Jazzercise. And that was it, man. Jazzercise was born. We were fucking flipping records. And, you know...
I'm not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
No, but you speak a lot about being a Gemini on there.
Yeah.
Like, are you into big on horoscopes and stuff like that?
I'm not necessarily big into horoscopes.
But you're very you might be. Are you a 5%er? Like, I heard you talk about this shit on Type Real. Like,
I've studied the 120. I've studied. You know, I've done my due diligence on it. You know, I think it's a really beautiful culture and a whole beautiful breed and stuff like that.
I love this
guy. But you know, like I feel like the Geministic way that my mind works is like really on point with like all that shit, even if like I believe in it or not.
What Gemini characteristics are you very strong
like with? I'm really outgoing, I'm charismatic, I'm cunning. I can make you do some shit you probably be like, I never would expect I did that, but just the way that he presented that idea sounded like a good idea.
Alright, so I know I'm gonna try out my wild shit with this guy. I can trust him. It's my guy. So Miles Away, like another track where you're like talking about tired of these rappers nowadays.
It's complicated things that overcomplicate the scene. To them it's all ketamine, to me it's just the energy. Negativity ain't something that I fucked with. So if you vibe jets, get off my line quick. Align my rhyme sick in the form of starships. Sun, moon, and starship, promote you fiber optics. Now the dropping, while you catch Molly popping. I've been through it too, so I understand the process.
But so much more, like this is a very, very dope album. Like the Son of Ray, the track with Emily Clary.
Yeah, shout out to Emily Clary.
Gosh,
one of the best. So
like, how where you came up with these ideas, bro? What made you which beat? You know what I mean? How did you choose? Like, this is what I'm gonna do for this. Out of all the,
it came to me. So
the Miles Davis tracks, I'm gonna use this one.
Right. So if we go to a track like, you know, the track with me and Emily, the Sun Rays for Sun Ra, I was actually the one originally singing that hook. So I made the song, I sang the hook, I brought it to Comp. He's like, this shit sucks. Like the hook, he's like, this shit sucks. I'm like, damn, for real? Like, I thought it was good.
You got a few tracks you were singing on too.
Yeah, so that was
Time.
Times Ago. Wow, Times Ago. Shout out to my boy High Street. But so you know, he's like, this shit sucks. He's like, we gotta get a girl to sing this, man. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, who's a girl that I know? And this was the first track Emily and I ever did. I knew about Emily. You know, I thought she was amazing, so talented, which I still do. I love her so much. And you know, like fucking, we invited her to the studio. I'm like, yo, this is what I got. I'm like, I wrote the hook. I'm like, can you sing it? And she did it in the studio in front of me and comp. We were like, shit. Like, this is it, bro. Like, we found her. We found the girl that we want. You know what I'm saying? So that was a beautiful moment, man. And you know, that invoked a lifelong friendship for me and her. You know, her and I are still very close.
Y'all have worked together
We've
a lot
of music together. We've done a lot of shows together. And so somebody that I just admire on all levels, man. You know, like when you meet like an artist like that and you're just like, fuck, dude, like that person really strikes a chord to me. Like, I love her. I really do. She's amazing.
You got to talk about, you spoke about Dave on there as well. Who's Troy?
Troy. As well. Right. So Dave and Troy, those are my type.
Yeah, you talk about them, and decided to say your grandfather.
Yep.
And Dialysis Fridays.
Yeah.
What did you take from Dialysis Fridays?
So Dialysis Fridays were when my grandfather needed to go to dialysis, clearly. He actually gave me his car, and he said, here, like, you know, he was unable to drive. He was, you know, handicapped, but he wasn't handicapped as far as like any physical ailments, but internal ailments. He was handicapped to the point where he couldn't drive a vehicle or do much, to say the least. So he's like, hey, here's my car. The only contingency on you having it and doing whatever you want is that you just, every Friday you take me to dialysis. And I was like, sounds like a sweet deal to me, for sure.
Yeah, I can do that.
So yeah, I was like, for sure, I can definitely do that. Like, no big deal. So, you know, so he gave me his car and we drove around. You know, some Fridays, you know, he would say, let's go. Some Fridays he said, let's not. So it wasn't like an every Friday thing, but you know, it happened for like a year and a half, 2 years until he actually ultimately passed away.
You gotta be a guy that deals with death well, because you shine so bright with your music. You would not be able to tell of all this stuff going through your music. Like, this is just one, and even the tracks that you put these mentionings on, they're still bright, beautiful songs.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And you
you're
know,
just
like,
such a talented motherfucker, Rich. Jeez.
I feel like we gotta honor our dead in a very specific way. The way that I deal with death is a very, very strange situation, I would say. You know, I'm the kind of person that if you passed away, I wouldn't like feel anything for like 6-7 months, close to a year, and all of a sudden I'm just like fucking on my floor in a fetal position crying, you know. Like it's like that, and it's been like that for
I've dealt with so
all
much,
that.
and it's so much like I have no more grandparents, man.
Me neither, dude.
I'm
I
down
don't.
to like my mom and her 2 sisters.
Right. It's
like,
small.
After
Small.
9 brothers and sisters she had, like, so you know what I mean. Like it's just like I know what you mean, bro. And so it's like it's just kind of sad to say, kind of numbing. You know what I mean? And today's world just makes it even worse. And like I said, you're speaking about the whole, on that same track, to have to say no shots at Miley, you're speaking about a lot of the social media in the world today, or a lot of the media period and the role it plays today. Like, speak on your perception of that, of the taintedness or the benefit of it as well, the media and the music today.
I don't know, man. I really feel like it's like it turns it into something weird because it becomes fetishized, it becomes idolized, it becomes something that it's not, right? Like, they turn artists and they turn art into something that is like so unattainable and so, you know, discredited at the same time, which is such a strange thing because you got a big conundrum going there. You got one going one way, one going the other way, right? It's like, this is the most important thing in the world, and other people are saying this is the least important thing in the world. And, you know, like, let's, you know, it's fucked up, man. I feel like the mental, as far as all that goes, is just tough. Yeah. It's deep rooted. It's something that I feel uncomfortable even talking about, to be honest with you.
All right, change the subject. Let's change the subject.
Yeah.
We're moving to the next project, Future Sounds. Once again, produced by Distinguished Comp.
Mr. Compliment, shout out to Mr. Compliment.
Are these all real stories on Astrofield no longer as well?
Astrofield is a real story. Astrofield is a story when I was living in
Well, a wild day. Woke up.
Yeah, it was a wild day. I was living in Deerfield with 3 strippers. And I was, I know, it's crazy. I was living in Deerfield with 3 strippers who I became really good friends with because, you know, because I would always hang out at the strip club and we would be doing drugs and like.
And they needed a roommate.
Yeah, they needed a roommate. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And like, yo, we need a roommate. You want to, because I would always go to their house and hang out like for days and like, you might as well just pay rent here. I'm like, all right, cool.
He gotta love Rich.
So, no, but this is sweet girls, really cool girls. I still keep in contact with them from time to time.
Word.
But you know, yeah, that's when I was living with them. Wild days, bro. You'd wake up, you have to go to work in the morning, and you would see like fucking 10 people just sitting and fucking being high as fuck from the night before, bro. You're talking like 10 in the morning, just getting lit.
No longer is such a dope ass.
No longer is a beautiful track, and I just really want to give credit to Amanda Nieves, who's also known as Yo Amanda.
Yo, man, that's the same person.
That's the same person.
Or will you be able to prosper when we're together?
Yo,
no
I
longer?
once met this fine dime, she was one of a kind. Had the looks and the mind with the banger behind. She would sway side to side, damn, that body's refined. Make the men chasing after like they racing in line. I ain't paying no mind, this chick is bad for your health. The last dude that she had, he went directly to jail. You know, domestic disputes, Ray and nephew abuse. Caught her in his own bed with this Mexican dude. I played the bar heavy.
That's the same person.
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Another one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with.
Okay.
I remember when we created No Longer. No Longer is almost a similar situation to Sunrays for Sun Ra. It was another hook that I wrote anyway. And I wrote that hook. And, you know, I was singing it. I'm like, man, who would sing this so perfectly? And I sent it over to Amanda. She's like, fuck yeah, I love it. Cool. We brought it to the studio and, you know, we made magic. The greatest part about that beat is Comp actually made that on his iPad. And I know it's cool to make beats on iPads nowadays, but he made that on his iPad back in like 2014. You know, like he was taking a trip to like Denver or whatever the case is.
Yeah, that came out June 2014. The first.
Fucking learning. I'm learning something.
Listen, I did my research. I'm a fucking fan, bro. All right. But no, I learned a lot from you. Like even from the like I said, the rap platform interview. Tracy Fields, the link up with that.
Yeah. So Tracy Fields is actually a really good friend of mine. She is the DJ for 93.1 WLRN Evening Jazz. Somebody who is near and dear to me in the music industry, and just in general. So I actually hit her up one night, and another club story. I was drunk at a club, and Comp and I were talking about it because, you know, all things considered,
that's definitely the next project I want to get into.
That's
the project.
Yeah,
we got that.
That's
there.
the monument. That's my monument.
All you things about. You see how I'm going in chronic.
Yeah, I like it. I love you, man. Shout out to DQ, man. But yeah, Tracy Fields. I contacted her when I was at a club, and I was like, "Yo, like I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm coming out with a record called All Things Considered." All Things Considered is actually a show which is on NPR in the morning. So, and it's a show that I listen to all the time. But I was like, yo, Comp, we gotta make All Things Considered, this and that. I'm like, let's get Tracy on the thing. He's like, word. So I reached out to her. She's like, fuck yeah, I love it. She's like, could you send me a couple tracks? Like, I just want to hear like the vibe you're flowing with. So I sent her Frontal Lobes, and I think I sent her Daytime, I believe.
Daytime's the one where I say,
bruh, color talk. Yeah, exactly.
No, say the bar, please, because this man says.
I'm number one and I'm Broward's native son speaking in the native tongue. I say bruh, lit, talk shit, drink, lick, smoke a joint at your crib.
This guy! We say bruh, and lick, bruh. See, I just said lick, bruh, right after that because that's Broward.
So
read the hat, nigga.
So yeah, man. So I reached out to Tracy. She was digging it. You know, she sent us a couple voice samples, and that was awesome.
Dope.
That was really cool. And it's funny because like every time like I'm hanging out with somebody, I'm like, yo, you know this lady. Like, I'll like sometimes I'll be hanging out with people and like, you know, we'll be in the car riding to the jazz. You know, I'm a big jazz head, and I'm like, yo, you know this, you know her. She was on my album, right? Like, what? Like this is her on the album. Like, yeah, dude, that's Tracy.
In there. So that was like one of the first releases on the Unfold Records for you.
Correct.
Speak about what that is and. You know, the importance of vinyls to you as well.
Yeah, for sure. Unfold Records is the brainchild of myself and Mr. Compliment. When we initially started, we launched with the drop of All Things Considered. We did drop that record on vinyl. We did sell out of all of our records that we did have. A solid 500 stacks we sold out. So not 500 grand, but 500 records in general. So we sold out 500 records within like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I was literally mailing records by hand, doing it up. And we actually launched the label and our first out-of-state show in New York at Hotel RL in Brooklyn, which featured myself, BB Borja, my man Gizmo, which is Wendy Giovanna's man. He was out there. My boy Devin Lee, also known as Knox. And shit, I know there's somebody else at that show. Yeah, I think it was me, BB, whatever. But yeah, so that was like our first launch. That was like our first launch for real of like the whole entire label. When we first started, we gathered up the talents of Sheena Murray. Shout out to her, one of my favorite artists. BB Borja and Emily Cleary. All three of them were on our label tentatively. We're just working on music, doing shows and shit, and just having fun. We're just having fun.
Very
oh my
talented
gosh,
females.
the best.
Oh my god, like
the best.
I've had Sheena part of
The
my
best.
shows. I've had Emily part of my shows.
The best.
I've had BB part of my shows.
The best.
I wish to have Comp part of my shows, please. All right.
I'll put in a good word.
I got some artists that want to work with you, Comp. I'm dead ass. They need some comp beats.
Yeah, those three
Right.
those three women are they hold a very soft place in my very hard heart.
We need All Things Considered available everywhere again, Rich. What's going on?
We're gonna put it back up. We're just
God, it's fiending now. If you don't have the vinyl, you can't hear it.
You can't hear it. Exactly.
Jesus Lord.
Yeah, that's how we do it out here. But
But they talk about the importance of vinyls too.
Oh my God, vinyl is a very important thing. I feel like it's a cultural thing. I feel like vinyls is not only a way to communicate a message, but it's also a way to share the love of music. And it's one of the first platforms where you can actually take it home to your house. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of music before that was strictly radio. You think about it, people were recording in like fucking cans and shit back in the day, right? Like I'm not even lying, that's a for real thing. If you go back and record it, that's a real thing. And then to be able to actually the technology to press a song on a piece of wax is actually it's a big thing. Oh, yo, pass me a red stripe.
Yeah, red
stripe. Sorry, we're doing a little refreshment break here.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to my man Cardi in the car, bro.
Cardi in the building. You know we in the small town
You can't
production.
say him.
We gotta
shout out to my small town bros, man. Love you guys. Always been a fan too. It's great to have these guys around because I know they fuck with my music and I fuck with their music just as hard.
Yo, listen, Cardi's throwing a lot of papers at me. He's handing me beers this time around. Listen,
Cheers.
guys.
Cheers.
Shout out to small town.
Yeah.
We had to do it up. We had Simple Jameson, and of course, we gotta go on to the Jamaican vibes of the Red Stripe.
They say
requested by my guy Rich here.
I requested them because they're a very fine beverage. It's one very fine beverage. One of my favorite beers out in the streets.
What's your favorite drink ever? Like, what's your favorite liquor?
Like beverage?
Yeah.
Like just Jameson on ice.
Word. Yeah. I'm glad it's.
But if we're talking like non-alcoholic beverages, I'm a Duffy Rock with a Mountain Dew Baja Blast for sure.
Taco Bell, dude. So okay, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Because I want to go into speed it up into a very funny process because you. A part of this segment of the interview, you, sir, are a very active person on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's fun.
And you're a very funny person on Twitter. And sometimes I like to get my research from Twitter sometimes.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna start back from just this year. Okay? This year.
Wait, do you do this in every interview?
I do this in every interview.
Dude, we gotta put like the banner above us. Read the tweets. Read the tweets.
Listen, so you said before the last
put,
tweet.
Read the tweets above us, like in gold letters.
Shout outs to Pop Tart on the Gravity. Just things.
Yo,
okay?
shout outs.
So, been doing so much reflecting and meditating this morning on how impactful this year was. Very grateful to have experienced all that I have with everyone I experienced it with. 2019 will even be more eye-opening, if not a transcendent experience altogether.
Yes.
Wish y'all the best. That was your last tweet before the year ended.
Beautiful. I'm so glad I tweeted that because you know what, like that really resonated throughout this entire new year. Like I swear to God, every word I said on that really, transcendence was my, how do you say it?
Word?
My vision. Yeah, that was my word, right? That was my word. That was my vision of 2019. That was the message that I had gotten prior to the new year coming. You know, I felt like this was going to be a great year for everybody that I know, everybody in my life. And, you know, transcendence is a form of a godly motion, right? It's to the point where you're out of body experience. You see the world in a whole different perspective. Like, and you know what? I feel like that was really my goal this entire year coming up. Fuck.
You've been doing it.
We're transcending, brother.
Motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
And then you start the new year with New Year, same rent.
Yeah, same
That's
fucking
some
rap.
real
Shout out to
shit.
my house, it burned down, but you know.
What? Yo, when you... Oh my gosh, I remember I hit you up and you told me that. I was like, what, Rich? And I prayed it for you, dog. But
Yo, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No, I'm real talking. Look at the blessing.
Prayer's impactful. It's important.
Listen, I'm glad because look at you now.
It's funny, isn't it?
And like I said, you said it before, trap music is so unimpressive.
Very much so.
You said it yourself.
I'll say it a lot.
And but you also said, I'm gonna make my best music this year. I haven't heard anything from you since New Jazz from last year.
New Jazz 96. So that's a really great record. That actually transcended me in 2019. But Comp and I actually have a lot of works that we haven't showed anybody that we've made this year. So, you know, for you, maybe you haven't heard anything, but for me, I have made my best music.
We need it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But there's some things at the vault, you know, they just sit in there and they brew and they stew and, you know, they live.
You said some real shit. As someone who does events, this cannot be any more vivid of a very statement.
I know what
you could put every single piece of info on a flyer and somebody's still gonna ask you a question they could have answered themselves via the info on that flyer. LOL. Why?
Wait, what date was that? Because
that was the 18th of January.
All right, because that was reference. Oh, okay. That was reference to when the intensive care unit and myself we performed at Just a Vibe.
I pulled up.
Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to the Just a Vibe people because those fucking people are really cool, man. Really nice, cool people. Very, very, very nice people. I like their show. I like their event. But yeah, so I, you know, literally, they're like, hey, you know, make your own flyer. Like, I feel like we get a lot of people out there like that. I'm like, cool. Love making flyers. Love graphic design. So I made a flyer. Literally, I literally put every piece of information, time, date, money wise, the time, fucking
which was free.
Address, you know, yeah, which is free, right? So I put everything. You didn't have to ask me a question, and lo and behold, here we go. Of course, we're getting asked a question, but it's okay.
Please, people, read.
Just read.
I'm tired of that.
You can read.
Please, if you can, y'all tweet. I don't understand how you can tweet and not read.
Yo, I wonder if there's a person out there that cannot read but can tweet.
Listen. There's people out there. Yeah. They're not the best reader, but they be out there with a million tweets and retweets, I'm sure. To live is to risk it all. Otherwise, you're just an inert chuck of randomly assembled molecules drifting wherever the universe blows you.
That's a Rick and Morty quote.
Rick and Morty? What's up with these cartoons nowadays?
Bro, you never watch Rick and Morty?
Not really.
Oh my god, that show is literally landscaping our entire future, and you should definitely check it out.
Okay.
It's a really great show. There's a lot of cool quips like that on there where, like, the main character, Rick, who is an evil genius, but maybe not even evil. I would say more so a creative scientist. He has all kinds. Really cool show. It's definitely something to check out.
I'm gonna watch it. Always be like Chuck D. Never be like Flavor Flav.
Right.
Cardi, get out of the interview. What? How? Why you say that?
Because, bro, look at Public Enemy. You know, look at it. Like, what do you mean? Bro, look at Flavor Flav, bro. Dude's wild. Dude's cracked out. He fucking lost his mind. But, you know, still a legend. But
he got the TV show.
But whatever. You look at a dude like Chuck D, who was like the overseer of all that shit. The smartest mind in the whole entire industry. Yeah.
Officer.
But yeah, to always be like Chuck D, never be like Flavor Flav. I feel like that should be like one of the 10 commandments.
You know how you're a wild boy from Broward?
Why?
I can't wait to do cocaine in that guitar-shaped hotel they're building.
That's a legendary tweet on everything.
Trying to get out of here,
That's a legendary tweet.
Yo, me too. I do love that shit because you know what? They only built that motherfucking hotel for people to do cocaine inside of it. Yo, real shit. Because listen, you're not gonna do cocaine at the fucking Marriott. I mean, you might, but it's gonna be boring. You ain't gonna do cocaine at the the little jump off down the
20
street.
floors up.
But
in
bro,
the
you're
guitar.
in a guitar-shaped hotel. Of course, the rooms come with cocaine. They have to.
Listen,
Yeah, exactly.
you and EP who will also have done an interview with these goddamn shower beers just hit different.
Yo, shower beer's on my shit. You never fucked with a shower beer?
You guys are wild.
Yo, listen, here's a shower beer. Shower beer is when, like, you gotta go to work, right? It's like, you gotta go to work at 11. It's like 10:26.
It's the same thing.
You're trying to beat the hangover. You're like, fuck, but I gotta take a shower. So, like, you're showering, you got your beer going. Multitasking, bro. It's like brushing your teeth in the shower.
Wild boy Rich, ladies
Yo,
and gentlemen.
maximize your time. Drink a beer in the shower.
A lot of you didn't grow up with UPN 33, and it really shows.
God, yes. Yes, it really does show. Because UPN 33...
What was on UPN 33 that you
Bro,
got?
Martin was on UPN. The Wayans brothers was on UPN. Bro, all my favorite shit. I think that even in the morning they had like Saved by the Bell. They had Family Matters. What the fuck?
So you love all this stuff that's golden. Tell me real talk.
Yeah.
Tell me the difficulties that you face as being a white person.
Wait, finish the sentence. Or is that it?
No,
Is that
that's
it?
it.
Is that it?
What? Nah. But for as a white person in the music,
Oh man, to be honest, to be honest, there really wasn't any struggles with that.
and you, from what I see, have a genuine love for black culture.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
I love all cultures,
Tell about
bro.
that difficult. You ever had a black chick?
Yo, you know what? You ask me that a lot, dog. And you know what's funny? I remember one time, like, I was talking to you on the phone. You're like, yo, you've been with a black girl before,
I know
right? Like,
you.
yo, you said that to me. And you know what? In all disclosure, yeah, I have, of course.
I'm tired of freaking
But
Cardi,
listen,
ladies and gentlemen.
But listen, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
like
I am a lover of
what
the
you like in ladies? What you
female
look for?
anatomy.
What you look for in ladies? What you look for?
Man, you know what? The older I get, I feel like the more minimized that becomes. You know, like I feel like I don't know. The women I'm attracted to are just. But
Come on, give me two features.
two features.
That a woman
I like a really good smile. I like a really good witty personality that can keep up with me. 'Cause,
Okay.
you know,
Sense of humor.
I like a sense of humor. I like somebody who's smart and intelligent and confident. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I sing? Am I single? Yeah.
Hey, listen, we could cut that out if you were to answer. It's okay.
I feel like you're asking me, but that's kind of weird. So you single, bro?
All right, next tweet. This guy's wildin'. All right, listen. No Worries, Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, Blue and Green, Operation Doomsday, Donuts, Below the Heavens, Enter the 36 Chambers, Supreme Clientele are just to name a few of what you replied to. What project can you bump all the way through? No skips.
Yeah, that's for sure for me, for sure. Especially No Worries. Shout out to Anderson Paak of Knowledge. But you know what? One I didn't put on there was the Chronic 2001, which is amazing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but in November there is an orchestra coming to the Adrian Art Center that will be performing the entire Chronic 2001 in orchestra style. So. Yeah.
Only Rich the Great would know.
You guys should definitely go to that. I'm not gonna be in town, but you guys should definitely go because that sounds really cool. Like,
What's your favorite track on Reasonable Doubt?
Oh wow, I think Regrets for sure.
What's your favorite track you've ever written?
Probably Rapper Rich and the Horrible Stupid Fucking Day.
Which is hilarious. I'm not making fun of you, but it's just so like you made it so vivid. But you said that's another true story song too.
That's a very true
That's
story.
so crazy. Caught my mama zip for Mother's Day.
Yo, treat your moms right, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Did you really?
I mean,
Yo, this guy's great. Yo, keep your love in your back pocket. What that mean?
it means protect your heart, bro. Don't give it to everybody.
You might sit on your heart.
It's better than someone else sitting on it.
You might drop out.
Better than someone else dropping it out, bro. You'll always find a way back to your own heart, but if somebody else takes it, it's kind of hard to maneuver that.
What kind of sick stuff you on, Rich? About
Sick
can
stuff?
I be your emergency contact?
That's an Office quote, bro.
Office is my show.
Yeah, but you know what? I hate
High
to break
school.
it to you guys, but Parks and Rec is actually a better show.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I have to watch that too.
You never
went
watched
to,
it?
No. I went to the DMV this morning. Now I have to spend the rest of the day recovering from such torture.
Oh yeah, that was recent, right?
Yes. What, speak about the hardships of the DMV.
Listen, if you never have to go there, please don't, man, because it is, you know what? It's a systematic thing, and I'll tell you how it's systematic, right? Because what happened was my license was suspended, so you know I had to take care of a couple things to get it correct, right? So, but they make you wait in line for 2 hours before you can do anything or see an actual human being. So you think about it, it's sunny as fuck outside, hot as fuck, and you're just like melting, and you're waiting in line for 2 hours, and pretty much like half the people I was waiting with left because they just didn't want to wait. So, you know, I was telling the dude up front, like, yo, this is a whole systematic thing. Like, people just leave, then they go back on the streets to suspended licenses, get pulled over, get all fucked up with the law, and then got to pay money to the state, and no one wants to wait in line for 2 hours in the sun,
DMV is
bro.
the worst.
Trash.
Whenever I feel depressed, I just do nice things for people I love, and then I don't feel depressed anymore. Really?
Yeah, that's a cone right there, bro, for sure. Because I'll tell you what, that was a recent situation, and I woke up one morning feeling hella depressed, and then I bought somebody I know groceries, and then I felt really good about that.
Word.
Yeah.
You're such a nice guy, Rich. So you're going to Dallas. When are you going to Dallas?
My last day in South Florida is July 28th, 2019.
It's okay, but listen, Rich, man. When can we get some new music? We get some new music this year?
For sure. Once this move to Dallas happens, we're gonna transfer the entire label over there.
Okay.
So we're gonna have Unfold Records.
Unfold Records is still moving.
Unfold Records is still moving. I'm definitely gonna drop an entire album this year.
All right.
All produced by Mr. Compliment. He doesn't know that yet, but he's gonna figure it out once he hears this interview.
This guy. I'm sorry, Con. I'm not trying to get you in trouble, man.
Nah, he's more than willing. New music. You can definitely hear new music from me. You can definitely hear new music from him. You can definitely hear new music from the Small Town crew.
Oh yeah, if you talking about me, of course you can definitely check out the artists that I manage for sure, and A&R for at Small Town. Oh yeah.
This is my interview. What the fuck?
Rapper Rich, ladies and gentlemen, the talented, the legendary, the Broward native, man. Been doing this for how many years?
Too long.
About
year.
almost
about 10, 12 years in the game, bro.
My guy, Rapper Rich, we love you. Broward County loves you. We're gonna enjoy you very much more for a little bit longer after this. Okay?
Yeah.
Rapper Rich, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I just want to say, whatever the fuck we want to do it. Like, that's it. Close it out. Shut the camera.